Alright, welcome. This is going to be a Stormgate cast. My name's Algorithmor, and this is going to be one of our players' thanks here, spawning in the bottom left of Isle of Dread. This is a red Vanguard thanks. I think I said his name already. And his opponent in the top right, playing Infernal, the blue Infernal, is, I don't actually read Korean, but I looked this up on Google Translate, and I believe his name is Kim Gosu, is what that says there. And we got a good luck, have fun out of thanks, and a GG from Kim Gosu. Hopefully we do have a good GG, and already we see a little bit of interaction between the scout unit and the Hexen. The scout getting a few chomps down on the Hexen before running away, and probably going to go find one of those healing cabbages, and it looks like Thanks knows exactly where the healing cabbages are on the map. So, and that's probably not too surprising. Thanks is highly rated on the leaderboard. I think he was in the top 500, but maybe recently he told me after not getting some practice in, fell off. We see the dog getting surrounded by the creeps and the brute and the fiends, and unfortunately being taken out. So that's an unfortunate loss for Thanks to start out, and good micro from Kim Gosu. We also see that Kim Gosu has put this iron vault out on the map that allowed him to get one of his brutes out a little bit quicker and reinforce here, and may have also contributed to being able to capture that dog. We see that he split all his brutes as well, and they've got the lightning from the speed camp, and they also have the shroud skin white health from being manually split. And there's a lot of DPS that comes out of the fiends here, and we see that they're able to kill those slimes pretty effectively, losing, I think, one. Unfortunately, tried to micro it out, but losing it. Back home for thanks, we have a fast expo. I think that was, yes, a command post first. I was going to call it a shrine first, a command post first. Followed by a barracks here, and our first lancers out on the map. And it looks okay, a habitat. I thought that might have been a preemptive sentry post. It looks like Kim Gosu is going to move down to take out the health camp of Thanks. Vanguard's being a little bit slower on their creeping, meaning that Infernals, especially on patch 0.1.2, which this game was played on, have the opportunity to do this kind of bullying move. And I like the positioning of these two Lancers out of Thanks. And they've turned to focus their attack on the Hexen, and she's about to go down. They're also really good against the Fiends, and now we see them take out that effigy as well. And we see more Fiends being summoned, or I guess Brutes being split to create Fiends. These fiends are trying to get a run by and trying to get on top of the Bobs. And the Bobs here are going to run back to the Luminite and turn to fight, it looks like. And then the Lancers come and they're going to be able to clean this up. But now the Lancers are distracted in the main here fighting these, while we have Brutes and Gaunts here attacking the Buzzsaw cannon. The Bobs come to heal it up, and Kim Gosu decides, well, I'm going to go into the main. There are still the three Lancers there, and now we see a sentry post being built in the Luminite line here. One Lancer going down, two Brutes still alive, one quite low. And now we have some body blocking going from the Bobs. Really good job, and the Lancers were able to get out of the way in time for one of them to get in there. With overcharged Bobs, Kim Gosu decides to run away. Unfortunately, has to run past this other Buzzsaw cannon, which gets a few free shots off, but losing no Gaunts there. So pretty good pressure out of Kim Gosu to start there. Hey Grimmy, thanks for the raid. And we see that Thanks is recovering. He didn't lose much there. I think he only lost a couple units. His Bobs were able to defend. Was able to create the sentry post, which maybe could be salvaged now to help those Bobs be back to their most optimal mining. And we do see now Kim Gosu returning to the map, and he still has that map control and is able to take some of these camps that are on Thanks' side of the map. Now Thanks is moving out and trying to regain some of that map control now. Going to take this camp, leaving the injured injured Lancers back. And this Lancer is going to run into the army of Kim Gosu and probably, yeah, well, we see that kinetic redirect allowing him to scoot out of there, get little zippy legs and run away. And Kim Gosu is going to maybe go back to his side of the map and probably take his own camps, while we still see Thanks on Lancer tech and moving these Lancers to just get some map control of his own. And alright, it looks like Kim Gosu is going to go for the next Luminite, so looking for resources out of his creeping. Now losing the vision over here. And on to base himself, let's see what kind of tech he's got back home. He's got a Hellforge researching Magmadon. Which one's that one called? Demon Hoof Tremors. Okay, that's the stomp. The stun that comes with the stomp. Nothing out of the ritual chamber, but that might mean that we already have some Plague X's. Let's check on his gaunts. Yeah, Plague X's are already up. Now Thanks has moved around and is starting to capture the healing, so maybe there's going to be a little bit of aggression out of Thanks. And it looks like Kim Gosu is moving out too. What happened? Okay, so he knows that those units were there from the alert. And now there's going to be a little battle. I don't think Thanks really wants to take that, and Thanks does a good job of dodging the Nightfall infestation, but then got caught in one of the tramples of the Magmadon. There's actually two Magmadon here. And yeah, Thanks is going to retreat back to his side of the map. A couple of Exos has joined. There is one Exo misrallying here who's unfortunately splattered. Okay. Alright, so Thanks retreating back, also putting up a third base. Kim Gosu's not yet on a third base and is retaking this health camp. Use the Magmadons to stomp down some trees. But we're seeing... Is this even... Yeah, there's full saturation here. But we don't see a third base yet coming up. So this is going to mean there's going to be an eco advantage for Thanks here for at least a little bit. While he's... Okay, now he's only got 6 workers here, but that might be because some of them are marching out to the other camp. Now Thanks is going to retake his health camp, while a pretty large force out of Kim Gosu is moving across the map. So he hasn't expanded, but he has built a really big army. Oh, it looked for a second there that he might go for the backdoor trees. And maybe he was intending that and changed his mind, or maybe he had just rallied his troops down there. He's decided now to go for this Therium camp. And Thanks is moving out. There's a lot of Exos. I don't see what happened to his... Oh, there they are, of course. They're healing up at the camp. Sitting in the healing juices. And they've both got the same idea, although Kim Gosu's a little bit ahead and has already captured his camp. And Thanks is particularly out of position here. And it looks like Kim Gosu is going to be a little bit aggressive. And is at least going for this camp. Maybe we'll see aggression. Oh, there's 4 Magmadons now. So that's a pretty strong commitment to Magmadons, which maybe we could have seen coming since we saw the upgrades for Megs going down. And good job of staggering the Magmadon stomps, using only 1 on the creeps, using 1 to get through the trees. meaning there will still be some stomps available. We have a med tech in the sentry post, creating a healing field around, and a pretty good job of the Magmadons to stomp right in the front line. They're a little maybe overexposed, although the Gaunts have marched up. They were on move command there. I think the Gaunts are having a little bit of trouble. They've been maybe target focused on the flak cannon, but can't quite reach it, and so they're not getting their DPS in that you'd want. However, nonetheless, the flak cannon gets taken down. The Magmadons tend to get melted. They're now being focus fired by the Exos, and we only have Gaunts left with some Fiends and maybe a Brute, and there's not really anywhere for them to run, and they're kind of cornered back here. Some low Lancers are going down, though. We have our first Helicarrier on the map, and it's come over to join the fight. That's certainly going to help clean up the Gaunts. And Lancers scurrying along to clean up these last 3 Gaunts. And unfortunately, Gaunts do not do good when Lancers are running down on them like that. So it was a good idea, and I think there was some damage done to the economy during that attack. But, ooh, that looks like a misrally, a couple misrallied. And they just decide to turn and fight. Right, the micro of thanks is enough. Looks like there's some infest that might have been a Nightfall infestation. But that, ooh, some more misrallied Meg. So this is definitely not working out good for Kim Gosu. Managing to get whatever he can out of them. And that's what I think it's a good idea. Instead of just marching them away and letting them be picked off, turn and fight a little bit. It looks like one of them managed to get away. So good job. Only losing white health. And a few Shadow Flyers were taken out there too. But Shadow Flyers are now on the map. I think that was a nice sort of... I think seeing that first Helicarrier allowed Kim Gosu to make that tech switch pretty quickly. What do we have up here? 3 Bobs. It's very interesting. Like, are they planning to do something? I assume. Maybe they're going to break down trees. Lumberjack Bobs. That Helicarrier looked really speedy there, but I think it was just because he was moving down from the high ground. And let's take a... So we do have a 3rd base up now, and it looks like lots of workers have been added there. Well, we know there's a Twilight Spire because we've seen some Shadow Flyers already. And now we got more Mags. And I guess against this comp that's pretty good, except for the Helicarriers, but we only see one Helicarrier. We have another one flying in and a few other reinforcing units. And it looks like Thanks is looking to be a little bit aggressive now. After deflecting that attack on his base, I think he's in a better position. We see a Helicarrier going... Oh, the Helicarrier's taken out the trees. I didn't actually know that that was something Helicarriers could do. So, learn something every day. I mean, I assume they could. Bombing runs make sense. Would probably clear some trees. They're taking down the back door. And there is a Manifest Shroudstone appearing. And if you've taken a look at the patch notes today, that will no longer have its increased DPS. We got speedy units coming down to fight this off, and the Mags with some crazy stomps. That's the kind of stomps you want to get, and that's really good, but some pretty good, okay splits as well. These Exos still alive. And maybe now we've got some micro out of Thanks. A little bit of stutter step to keep them off, but we get another stomp. But yes, that those Mags unfortunately went down pretty quick to the Exos in the Helicarrier. And this push is going to continue, even though it's a smaller group now. We have Gaunts. The Gaunts are actually doing pretty good, although the FG gets taken out right away. Another Magmadon coming here, so it looks like this force might be cleaned up. A single Draven down there with a med tech. Nice sticky bomb exploding on all those Gaunts, and a few dead Gaunts there. And the Gravens are deciding to stay and fight because the sticky bomb slows down these units enough that they might be able to get away, and they do. The Magmadon stomping, another Magmadon stomp. The stuns are definitely a problem, and the Graven are not quite as good against the Magmadons, other than that they can sticky bomb them and then sort of pick them off as they're slowly walking away. So there is kite potential. But they just don't get that bonus damage against the Magmadons like they're getting against some of the other units. A few low Lancers come up and unfortunately get taken out. And it now looks like there is a pretty good Gaunt force coming. The last Magmadon goes down, and now these Lancers can turn and chase the Gaunts away. The Gaunts do have, it looks like Reaper's Rush. Yeah, they're speedy enough that they are scurrying back away. And that might be in that little skirmish there. Lots of guts over here, but those were Lancers and Gaunts. Okay, so these Gaunts retreating. It looks like they're heading this direction. What do we have? Another shrine going down over here. Interestingly, skipping this in this base here. This base has no Therium on the most recent update to this map. And it's also common to see a base going down here. And is that what we have here? This imp maybe is going to steal a secret hidden base. We'll see. A ton of Bobs moving over here. Wondering why that is. This is not quite mined out yet. Another helicarrier coming to join the army, and I don't see any other helicarriers with this armory at the moment. There's 2 helicarriers. But Thanks is on a 4th base as well, and indeed that imp was going to take a ninja base down here. Of course, it's right in Thanks' back door, so Thanks should be able to scout that out, maybe when he sends his own Bob over. So Bob chilling here with the slimes. He's a slime bro. And it looks like both sides are just reinforcing right now, trying to rebuild those armies after those skirmishes. And it's a lot of Gaunt tech here. That's one response to the helicarriers, although we haven't seen a ton of helicarriers. We've only seen 2 floating around here. And it's still a lot of bio from Thanks. It was Graven tech added as well, so, and med techs as well. So this is an interesting... Oh, there we go. We finally get some Weavers going. Now the Weavers... I think they will snatch the ghosts. The Gravens. At least until tomorrow's patch, when the lash or the autocast will no longer sort of do its smart targeting. And Thanks is coming to take the Therium while we see this force moving in on the Vision Camp. And the Vision Camp, I think I just saw it refresh, meaning that Thanks probably had vision on this army at least for a bit. These Bobs are certainly now giving vision and running away and will probably be cleaned up. Indeed they are. The Fiends oh, this last Bob getting away. He's happy. This other Bob's kind of like a brave Bob, deciding to go back to work, get back to work. And it looks like Kim Gosu decides to retreat. Getting some Bob kills, maybe killing a little bit of infrastructure up here and saying, okay, that's good enough, I'm going to move back. And Thanks is moving up with his army. A lot of Lancers, so a big strong front line. Exo's in the back. Ooh, Nightfall Infestation getting some of those Lancers. And a few bombing runs coming down. Those are actually really good bombing runs, getting a lot of Gaunts, lots of dead Gaunts there. And some sticky bombs on these Megs who managed to get their trample in on the Lancers. Lots of low Lancers, but no, it looks like dead Lancers. Maybe a few. We see some guts down there. Maybe those are dead Lancers. But Kim Gosu decides to retreat. The Weavers are going to teleport, and they manage to get out of there without losing any of them. So that was a good choice. And that means Kim Gosu did manage to retreat with a lot of those Gaunts that he had brought with him. But Thanks is now getting aggressive, taking this camp out first. Just a lot of Lancers. I don't think I've seen quite so many Lancers in a composition like this before, so I really like that. And now Thanks is going to be able to put some pressure on this base. There are already 2 Shroud Stones, so that's good, and we now see another Manifest Shroud Stone. But there's just so much army here that these Shrouds, this defense is going to go down, and then the Shrine as well. And it looks like, knowing this, Kim Gosu decides, okay, I'm going to move down here. And it looks like that Shrine that was down here was forced to be cancelled at some point. So now We're going to get a little bit of a base race, maybe? Now, I play Infernal, and I never really want to get in a base race. I never choose that option because I feel like I always lose them. Mostly against Celestials, I'm thinking. But it looks like the base race is not going to be a true base race because Thanks is turning back to try and save some of these bases. And Kim Gosu is going to continue to put pressure on these bases. Well, what has he left? A small force back, clean up some of this production. And the first Lancers are showing up. I think those were reinforcing Lancers to start out. We have a Sentinel with, what is this? Stasis drone going down. I forgot what it was called. This small little force is... good job of Kim Gosu to kind of micro this force and keep it away from this army while the other army's getting into a good position. The stasis drones are doing a good job of holding down those mags. And of course you can actually attack the stasis drone and free your mags. It just requires a little bit of micro. And of course little... Oh my goodness! Those bombing, those... Oh my... Look how much blood and guts there are there. All those gone. So that was the main fighting force here is gone. And especially the main anti-air. And with the front line being all Lancers, that was devastating losses. Look at the difference in the supply here. Oh, that's already a GG from Kim Gosu. So, GG out of Thanks.